Today's video is going to be an interesting one and I came prepared. So right here I have my script. So I scripted down the terminologies we're going to be looking into today. Today I want to lay a foundation for the studies ahead. I want us to look into these English terminologies that you're going to be hearing, you're going to be seeing, you're going to be discussing in this class from now henceforth. Okay, English has rules that guides it, and all the terminologies I'm going to be using, we're going to be seeing how they come to play. You're going to be seeing how they're being used and their functions, how they make English colorful. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. And if you've seen me for the first time, hi my love, thank you for stopping by, and please don't make it your last. You can actually join this family by subscribing. And if you're my returning subscriber, thank you for sticking around. So let's dive straight into it. So the very first English term, terminology, the short form of terminology is term, so I'm going to be using term for terminology. Okay, so let's proceed. Now the very first word, the very first term I'm going to be discussing is the homophonic words. When we talk about homophonic words, these are words that they are pronounced alike. Like when you pronounce them, they sound the same, but when you see them written, they have difference in spelling and as well in meaning. So they are called homophonic words. For example, you have the hour and the hour. Yeah, I'm talking about hour in terms of time. The H there is silent, and I have hour in terms of possessive pronoun. Okay, now for example, I have that's our teacher by this hour tomorrow. Can you spot the two sentences? And number two, we have was contraction. Was contraction. These are words we produce by shortening two words. Example, I have are not, aren't, do not. I can shorten it to become don't using an apostrophe. Okay, so that is word contraction. Don't forget, we are just building the foundation. We're going to be going into details in a subsequent video. The next thing we're going to be talking about is tense. When we talk about tense, we're talking about that form of a verb that expresses time. Basically, when we talk about tense, we are talking about time expression. If you're just joining me, I have previous video on this particular topic, the tense. Okay, so we have the present tense, the past tense, the future tense, and they equally have subtype. So watch the previous video so you get details to get the full lesson. Now the next on my list is the punctuation mark. We have punctuation mark, we have about 16, 17 of them. Punctuation marks are special symbols that we use to express, to show what kind of sentence that we are actually talking about. If it is a declarative sentence, is it an exclamatory sentence, an interrogative sentence? Okay, we will be detailed on that on subsequent videos. So let's move to the next one, which is the grammar. When we talk about grammar, we're talking about arrangement, structure, construction, how English is packaged for easy understanding, for it to be interesting, for it to be able to deliver exactly what we have in mind, you know. English will not be interesting if we are not able to say it the way we want to say it, the way we feel it, like able to express ourselves to the best of how we want to, right? So grammar is that arrangement, that structure, like that construction that helps us deliver, like express ourselves with words and sound. Like by the time we mix words together, they have to follow a particular arrangement, okay, to give us that, so that we can express totally how we feel, like express our feelings, our thoughts, whatever we want to express, we can express it fully. The next thing I'm going to be talking about now is the cross and the phrase. So these two work hand in hand. Most times you hear cross, you hear phrase. There are a group of words that have verb, they have subject. So it can be equally called a simple sentence. Whereas phrase is a kind of opposite to cross. That's why most time you hear cross and phrase. Phrase and cross, they always go together. Okay, so whenever a teacher is trying to teach cross, he makes sure he brings phrase into play. So you got to know that this is to this. So the Difference between clause and phrase is that phrase can't have a verb and a subject at the same time. Either it's having a verb or it has a subject. That's a phrase. So the two goes hand in hand. A clause contains a subject and a verb, whereas a phrase has either a subject or a verb. It can't have the two at the same time. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is the article. Articles are there to tell you about specification, like if this is specific or this is not specific. Okay, so the articles we have are A and D. Okay, now we have them grouped into definite and indefinite. So the word definite means it is specific, and when it is indefinite, it is non-specific. Okay, we'll be detailed about that in subsequent videos. So let's proceed to the next one. Now right here I have sentence proper. Every time you hear sentence when it comes to English language, what is sentence? I have done that in a previous video. I've taught that in a previous video, and it's so detailed, so you can actually go there and watch it. But for what we have today, which are terminologies, when you talk about sentence, you're talking about putting words together to make a meaningful thought, to express an idea, to talk about something you have in mind. Okay, let's not use that English. Let's break it down to a layman understanding. When you want to talk about something you have in mind, because the essence of sentence is for you to talk about what you have in mind, like to express yourself basically. That's why we have sentence. Okay, when you talk about sentence, you have the subject, the verb, and probably the object. We have modifiers, we have the terminals, and all the stuff that comes with sentence to make it colorful. We're going to get to that in subsequent video. I actually have a video on sentence, so try watch it. I think you're going to learn one or two from there. So the next one I have on my list right here, I'm talking about compound. You hear compound words, compound verbs, compound sentence, compound this, compound that. From the word, you're going to know that compound means mass. Like the word compound means mass, meaning it's more than one. They can be two, they can be three. Okay, so we have compound verb, we have compound noun, we have compound words, compound whatever. There's so many compound in English. So I'm trying to make you understand, whenever you see compound this, compound that, just know that that contains more than one of that. When you hear compound verb, it means it has more than one verb. When you hear compound noun, it has more than one noun. So that's where the compound is playing, right? So the next one on my list is hyphenated compound words. When you talk about a word being hyphenated, we're talking about a word being linked together with a dash line, that line like this. We're going to be talking about that line when we'll be discussing punctuation marks, okay? So you see something like bad mouth, you know? So that's hyphenated words. So the next one I have speech and parts of speech, okay? So as we know, we have about 8 to 9 parts of speech. We have the noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, conjunction, preposition, interjection, and the terminals. Okay, so if you say 8 parts of speech, you are correct, and if you say 9, you are equally correct. You know, English tends to revolve all year round. All right, so let's proceed to the next one. Next one is the consonant versus the vowels. Okay, when we talk about vowels and consonants, we've done that a lot. Okay, so I think by now you should be familiar with that. So we have vowels and consonants that are gotten from the 26 letters of English language. The A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. They are 5 in number, and we have the remaining 21 to be the consonants. The next one I have of my list is countable and uncountable. Yeah, you hear countable noun, uncountable noun, countable verb, uncountable verb, this, that, they are countable and uncountable. Okay, from the word you're going to know when you talk about something being countable, you can count it, you can number it, it is countable, you can count it. And when it's uncountable, it cannot be counted. Okay, you can't count water, you can't count air, but you can actually count a table, you can actually count a chair. Am I making sense? So let's see the next one, which is the mood. Talk about the mood. We're talking about the intention of the speaker or the writer in a sentence, like what he's trying to drive home. Is he making a request? Is he trying to make a suggestion? Is he stating a fact, or is it an imaginary work? Like what his intention for writing or speaking is. Okay, so I have the next one on my list. Voice. English has voice. When you say voice, you're not talking about talking. Okay, to talk about voice, we have the active voice and the passive voice. Okay, when you talk about active voice, say it the way I say it, and passive voice, add something or say it in your own understanding, or say it the way you can. Do you get that? That's what it implies. Now the next one on my list is the prefix and the suffix. These are words or sounds we normally add at the beginning. The beginning, that is the prefix, and the ending, that is the suffix, to create another word. Now the next one is the base. We have base word. You hear me use base form, base this, base that, base word. Yeah, we're talking about base, we're talking about the main word. Okay, for instance, if I want to talk about prefix, there is a main word that I have to add the prefix to recreate a word, or there is a main word I have to add suffix to recreate a word. Okay, so that's it. Now the next one I have here is idiom. Idiomatic expression. Yeah, in English we use idioms to make our sentence sound interesting and professional. Okay, we're going to be discussing that in details in subsequent videos. Okay, and the last on my list is quotation. Yeah, when we're talking about quotation, we're talking about say it the way I say it exactly, no addition, no deduction. For instance, I said gentle Jack went up the hill. Say gentle Jack went up the hill. Don't say gentle Jack he said went up the hill, and then no. Say it the way I say it. You quote it, say it, and that is what it is. Okay, so that's that for today's video. Don't forget, we are just working with terminology. We are just looking at the foundation. So we're going to be going into detail of every of what I have mentioned here in subsequent videos. Okay, so this is what it is for today's video, and I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, if you're yet to join this family, why not join this family by subscribing? Thank you for watching. See you on my next video, and bye for now.